At the end of April, the skies over Hong Kong stretched clear and bright, with not a cloud in sight. Gentle sunlight filtered through the crowded streets and narrow alleys of Tsim Sha Sui's historic market. The vibrant chatter of vendors and the mingling scents of fresh meat and spices filled the air. Yet, hidden among hanging pork bones and slabs of meat was a chilling secret, one that would soon shake the community to its core, revealing a dark truth carefully concealed. On April 29, 2018, like any other day, Hong Kong police received a call from a middle-aged woman who worked collecting recyclables near the neighborhood. She reported her 16-year-old daughter, Wang Jia Mai, missing. A girl both beautiful and bright, caught in the struggle of poverty and impossible choices. Jia Mai grew up in a cramped public housing estate in Tai Po District, Hong Kong. Once a top student with dreams of becoming a professional model, she silently carried the weight of her family's hardship. Behind her hopeful eyes hid a secret struggle, working in online sex work to help her mother make ends meet. Her fragile dreams slowly unraveling beneath the harsh city lights. At first, police gave little urgency to the missing person report. Runaways were not uncommon in Hong Kong, and many teenagers disappeared without notice. But as days passed without word, a chilling silence settled. Whispers in the streets suggested something far more sinister than a simple disappearance. Rumors spread like wildfire among neighbors and market vendors. Mothers clutched their children tightly, eyes darting suspiciously at every shadow. An unseen danger seemed to lurk beneath the familiar faces, creating a tense atmosphere that gripped the neighborhood. Jia Mai's life was a paradox, a gifted student overshadowed by the crushing reality of poverty and limited options. The yearning for a brighter future clashed painfully with the harsh path she had been forced to walk, caught between innocence and survival. The investigation uncovered Jia Mai's complex online connections. One name appeared repeatedly: Lu Bing, a factory worker 10 years her senior, quiet and lonely. Though he loved her deeply, Jia Mai saw in him a reminder of the life she longed to escape. Their tangled emotions added an aching layer to the mystery. Lu Bing, carrying his silent affection, remained devoted despite rejection. His humble background and gentle nature stood in stark contrast to the bright, fragile world Jia Mai sought to leave behind, a story of unrequited love amid the sprawling cityscape. But police quickly cleared Lu Bing. Surveillance footage and witness accounts confirmed his absence at critical times. With every lead that failed, the fog surrounding Jia Mai's fate only deepened, urging investigators to dig further into darker corners. Then, a chilling anonymous call from a man named Tsa Yan Duc shifted the case dramatically. He claimed a friend, Ding Kai Tai, had confessed in drunken ramblings to killing and dismembering a young woman. Though initially dismissed as nonsense, the call sparked a new wave of urgency and dread among the police. What secrets hide behind the neon lights and crowded streets of Hong Kong? How many silent cries are lost in the bustle? And what shadows lie in the hearts of those whose lives intersect on these crowded sidewalks? The discovery of Wang Jia Mai's dismembered body sent shockwaves through the city's tight-knit community. Some of her bones were found mingled with pork bones at a local wet market, a gruesome and haunting scene that shattered any illusions of safety. The butcher's stalls, once familiar and mundane, now seemed tainted with dread and suspicion. Forensic experts were stunned by the precision of the cuts. The killer's methodical dismemberment indicated knowledge beyond brutality, perhaps a familiarity with anatomy or even medical training. This clinical violence turned the murder into a disturbing act of grotesque craftsmanship. History whispered similar darkness echoes of past killers who reduced victims to dismembered parts, erasing identity and humanity. These brutal acts revealed not just savage impulses, but a chilling detachment from moral boundaries, a psychological abyss. Reflecting on such brutality forced the city to confront life's fragility. One moment, Jia Mai was a young girl full of potential, the next, a silent victim in a cruel narrative that shook collective safety and faith. What drives a person to commit such horrors? The killer's mind, tangled with cold calculation, savage impulse, and possibly madness, challenges our deepest understanding of human nature and evil. Psychologists suggest perpetrators of such violence often experience extreme dissociation, a fractured empathy that allows them to objectify their victims, committing acts without remorse or moral conflict. Yet, social context matters. Jia Mai's tragic path was carved by economic hardship, family fragmentation, and societal neglect, vulnerabilities that predators exploit with cold efficiency. Her story was not unique. Countless young women slipped through gaps in the social fabric, caught in cycles of poverty and exploitation. The systemic failures speak loudly through silent screams. The killer's decision to mix human bones with pork was not only to conceal evidence but also a psychological statement, a cruel, twisted display of control and dominance, extending even beyond death. The city's fractures widened, invisible divisions that let horrors fester unnoticed until the worst shatters fragile normalcy. How many others suffer in silence, their pain buried beneath daily routines? Yet, amid darkness, resilience emerged. Community vigils, calls for justice, and collective mourning shone like candles flickering against the night. Humanity's persistent light in the face of despair. This case was a haunting reminder: danger can lurk in the familiar, in neighbors, streets, even homes. The most terrifying threats sometimes wear the faces we trust. How can cruelty and cold calculation exist side by side in one soul? What dark forces twist human nature to commit such acts? These questions linger, challenging us to look deeper into the shadows of our society. Jia Mai's story is not just tragedy, but a call to awareness and action, urging society to protect its vulnerable, confront uncomfortable truths, and foster compassion beyond judgment. As the investigation unfolds, may we carry the memory of a young life lost, and our shared responsibility to prevent such darkness from claiming another. The journey ahead is daunting, a pursuit of truth through layers of pain, complexity, and human frailty. Yet, it is also a journey toward justice, healing, and collective awakening. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of this chilling case, uncovering lives touched, shadows revealed, and lessons that speak to us all. Because in understanding tragedy's depths, we find power to change, to heal, and to protect those who cannot protect themselves. As we reflect on these hard truths, we ask, how will we respond to the secrets buried in shadows? Will we choose silence, or justice? The investigation into Wang Jia Mai's disappearance soon revealed itself as a complex maze, where each lead seemed to dissolve into shadows. The Hong Kong police found themselves wrestling not only with elusive evidence but also the silent weight of social stigma that cloaked the victim's life in secrecy and judgment. Surveillance cameras, scarce in the labyrinthine alleys where Jia Mai was last seen, offered few clues. Each step forward demanded painstaking footwork, interviewing reluctant witnesses, piecing together fragmented memories amid a community hesitant to speak. Detectives often faced walls of silence, as fear and mistrust kept many from coming forward. The shadow cast by Jia Mai's secret life as an online sex worker deepened the divide, creating invisible barriers that hindered the flow of critical information. The emotional toll weighed heavily on the investigators. Each dead end was a bitter reminder of the fragile boundary between justice and oblivion, testing their resolve as days turned into restless nights. Yet, within this darkness, extraordinary perseverance bloomed. Officers dedicated themselves to tracing Jia Mai's last steps, examining every corner shadowed in mystery, seeking connections where none seemed apparent. Breakthroughs came unexpectedly: a forgotten witness, a fleeting glimpse on a faint surveillance clip, a recovered phone left behind, slowly illuminating the path through the fog of uncertainty. This case transcended facts and evidence; it became a fight against time and invisibility. Jia Mai was not merely a file in a database but a young woman whose life and dreams deserved recognition and respect. From the chaos, a story emerged, of a girl caught between hope and harsh reality, navigating a world that offered little mercy. This narrative fueled the investigators' dedication, transforming duty into a mission for justice. Public scrutiny grew alongside the case. Media outlets amplified the tragedy, and with it, the community's demand for answers became louder, sometimes supportive, sometimes accusatory. Law enforcement faced the delicate balance of transparency and caution, ensuring that every step honored evidence and fairness amidst swirling public opinion. Behind the scenes, the psychological burden on detectives deepened. They carried the weight of a lost life, a grieving family, and a community desperate for closure. Among the officers circulated stories of small hopes and setbacks, moments that reminded them that justice, though fraught with obstacles, remained a cause worth fighting. A shared resolve blossomed, to seek the truth not only for the law but for Jia Mai herself, to give voice where silence had prevailed. This case reminded all that danger often lurks in familiar places: homes, schools, neighborhoods, where we least expect it. What hidden threats lie beneath the surface of the everyday? This question echoed through every step of the investigation and beyond. As the investigation into Wang Jia Mai's tragic fate unfolded, a new and complex battlefield emerged: the digital realm. The rise of social media and online forums transformed the public's response from whispered rumors into a roaring, chaotic chorus. Voices across the internet debated, speculated, and sometimes distorted the facts. This flood of information and misinformation blurred the lines between truth and rumor, hope and hysteria, justice and vengeance. In a society as connected as Hong Kong's, the digital storm around Jia Mai's story became both a tool for awareness and a dangerous trap for the innocent. Anonymous users flooded chat rooms and social networks with theories. Some were grounded in reality, others wildly speculative or even malicious. Among them, eerie confessions surfaced from unknown accounts, cryptic messages hinting at dark secrets, stirring both hope that the truth might surface and fear that innocent lives could be wrongly accused. The internet, a realm of freedom and anonymity, suddenly became a double-edged sword, amplifying the tragedy in unpredictable ways. Whispers of secret societies and hidden cabals within universities took hold in some corners, suggesting conspiracies beyond comprehension. Others accused powerful criminal syndicates or even corrupt officials shielding perpetrators. These digital shadows reflected deeper societal mistrust, a collective anxiety over transparency and justice in a world often ruled by unseen forces. The flood of online speculation was more than mere gossip; it was a mirror to societal fears. For many in Hong Kong, the case was a painful symbol of fragility, the precarious balance between safety and chaos in an ever-changing city. Through digital voices, the community grappled with feelings of powerlessness and the urgent demand for accountability. Yet within this digital tempest, there was a beacon of solidarity. Online communities rallied to preserve Jia Mai's memory, sharing her photos and stories, urging patience and persistence in the search for justice. These grassroots efforts transcended physical barriers, weaving a virtual network of hope and support that kept her story alive in the hearts of strangers. However, the internet's power came with a price. Rumors spread as rapidly as facts, and false accusations endangered innocent people caught in the public's crossfire. The cacophony of voices made discerning truth difficult, threatening to overshadow the real work of investigation and healing. Authorities struggled to navigate this new digital landscape, balancing the public's hunger for transparency with the need to protect the integrity of the case and the privacy of those involved. Cybercrime units monitored forums, debunked falsehoods, and tried to foster a climate of calm amidst growing tensions. The collision between modern justice and digital culture raised profound questions. How can truth survive the viral speed of online speculation? Can justice be served in a world where every fragment of evidence is dissected in real time by millions of unseen eyes? As public pressure intensified, investigators found themselves walking a tightrope, maintaining procedural rigor while answering to a global audience demanding immediate results and clear answers. The delicate balance between due process and public accountability became an invisible battleground. For many watching from afar, the digital frenzy offered an intimate window into the heart of tragedy. Yet, the unrelenting exposure often sacrificed compassion and nuance, leaving the vulnerable doubly exposed, both to crime and to the harsh glare of public judgment. In this digital storm, the boundaries between hope and hysteria blurred. The very connectivity that offered a platform for truth also amplified fear and confusion, exposing the fragile nature of communal trust in the digital age. As the case gripped the nation's attention, it sparked reflection on the influence and dangers of the crowd's voice in shaping history, memory, and justice. The power of the many could both illuminate and obscure, protect and harm. Can truth endure when besieged by waves of speculation and rumor? In the complex web of modern information, this question haunted every step of Jia Mai's story. The path through this tangled web required patience, vigilance, and critical discernment. As clicks, comments, and shares shaped public perception, the responsibility to seek deeper understanding grew heavier. Join us as we continue to unravel these layers, navigating the complex interplay of truth, deception, hope, and despair. Each digital footprint leaves a mark on the legacy of a young woman whose voice was nearly silenced forever. Behind the headlines and online debates, there was a young life marked by dreams, struggles, and harsh realities. Wang Jia Mai was more than a missing girl, she was a daughter, a student, a dreamer caught in the unforgiving grip of circumstance. Her story carried the weight of a family's hopes and a society's failures. Raised in modest means, Jia Mai's childhood was shaped by economic hardship and fractured family ties. Her mother toiled daily as a recycler, and despite the love that bound them, the burden of poverty pressed heavily on their small home. A gifted student with sharp intellect, Jia Mai once dreamed of modeling, an ambition bright and distant. She enrolled in a modeling course hoping for a better future, but the path she stepped onto was far more treacherous than she imagined. Behind the glamour lay shadows. Jia Mai found herself pulled into the hidden underworld of the city's vice trade, a place where vulnerability was preyed upon, and dreams could quickly become chains of exploitation. The pressure to survive, mounting debts, and few options forced Jia Mai deeper into the world of online sex work, a dangerous reality that isolated her even further and exposed her to constant threats. This hidden life was both a source of income and peril. While some perceived glamour, the truth was brutal. Many young women like Jia Mai faced abuse, exploitation, and the ever-looming danger of violence. Close friends spoke of Jia Mai's warmth, humor, and resilience beneath the surface. Yet cracks appeared as stress and debt piled up, visible in troubled social media posts hinting at desperation. Her last messages revealed frustration over unpaid debts and betrayal, glimpses into a turmoil that consumed her final days, silent cries for help unheard by many. Jia Mai's story reflects many others, young lives caught between hope and hardship in a city dazzling with opportunity yet often neglecting its most vulnerable. Her tragedy forces us to face uncomfortable truths about society's responsibility, the gaps in protection, failures of support, and silent struggles hidden behind closed doors. How many more like Wang Jia Mai walk the fragile line between dreams and danger, their stories unheard until tragedy strikes. Systems meant to protect often fall short, and in those failures, darkness finds fertile ground to grow. Without support, vulnerable youth slip through cracks too wide to see. Education, awareness, and compassion are our strongest tools to shield young lives from despair's pull, providing light in moments of darkness. We must learn to listen beyond appearances, see beyond statistics, and act with empathy and urgency to change the course of lives like Jia Mai's. Behind every missing person, every tragedy, lies a story worth telling, a life deserving dignity, hope, and justice. The arrest of Ding Kai-tai marked a grim turning point in the investigation. Known locally as a man burdened by a troubled past and substance abuse, his capture brought a mixture of relief and dread to the community. The man suspected of such a brutal crime was no stranger to hardship, a reflection of a fractured life spiraling into darkness. Ding Kai-tai's history revealed years of struggle, a childhood scarred by family trauma, brushes with the law, and a descent into drug addiction. His reputation as a dangerous individual was well known, a shadow figure lurking at the city's margins. During interrogation, Ding initially denied involvement, citing confusion and memory lapses caused by his heavy drug use. But as evidence mounted, the facade crumbled, revealing a dark truth no one wanted to face. Eventually, under relentless questioning, Ding confessed to the murder and dismemberment of Wang Jia Mai. His account was chilling, a disturbing mixture of violent impulse and chilling calculation. He described how, in a drug-induced haze, his judgment blurred, but the methodical nature of the crime revealed a conscious, deliberate intent. The grotesque mutilation was not an act of panic, but one of control and concealment. The horrifying realization settled that despite intoxication, Ding's actions were driven by a twisted desire to dominate, to assert power over his victim even after death. The ensuing trial became a complex clash of law, psychology, and public emotion. Debates raged over Ding's mental state, the influence of narcotics, and where culpability truly lay. Defense attorneys argued diminished responsibility due to Ding's impaired consciousness from drug use, while prosecutors emphasized the calculated steps taken to dismember and dispose of the body, actions incompatible with diminished capacity. After careful deliberation, the court ruled decisively. Though acknowledging the complexities of addiction, the severity and cruelty of the crime left no room for leniency. Ding Kai Tai was sentenced to life imprisonment, a sentence reflecting the grave nature of his actions and a measure of justice for a community shattered. But the case also raised deeper questions about rehabilitation, the roots of violence, and society's responsibility to prevent such tragedies before they occur. For many in the community, Ding's conviction brought a measure of closure. Yet the wounds left behind remained raw, a lasting reminder of vulnerability and the fragile thread of safety. Wang Jia Mai's story became a somber symbol, a young life stolen, but also a call to vigilance, compassion, and collective care for the vulnerable. Justice in the courtroom marked an end to legal proceedings, but the real work, healing, prevention, and understanding, must continue in the hearts and minds of all. How can society better address the roots of such violence and despair, ensuring that no more young lives are lost to silence and darkness? The story of Wang Jia Mai serves as a painful reminder, a tragedy etched into the collective memory, urging us to seek justice not just in courts, but in the everyday lives of those at risk. As we reflect on this case, we remember Jia Mai, her dreams, struggles, and the silence that surrounded her final days. May her memory inspire change and greater care for the vulnerable among us. We honor the tireless work of investigators, community advocates, and all who seek justice and healing amid pain and loss. Their dedication is a beacon in dark times. To our viewers, thank you for joining us on this difficult journey through one of Hong Kong's most chilling and thought-provoking cases. Your attention keeps Jia Mai's story alive and honors countless others whose voices deserve to be heard. Please share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. How has Jia Mai's story affected you? What lessons do you believe society must learn from tragedies like hers? If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share to help raise awareness and keep these important conversations alive. Together, we can build safer, more compassionate communities. As we sign off, remember, every life matters. Through understanding and action, we hold the power to create real change. What can each of us do today to ensure tomorrow is safer for all our youth? The conversation starts here, with you. As we draw this difficult story to a close, we pause to remember Wang Jia Mai, not just as a victim, but as a vibrant young woman with hopes, dreams, and a life tragically cut short. Her journey, though ended too soon, leaves an indelible mark on those who seek justice and compassion. Her story is a solemn reminder of life's fragility and the hidden struggles many endure behind closed doors. It calls us to look beyond headlines and statistics, to see the humanity in every lost life. This case also challenges us to reflect deeply on societal pressures, vulnerabilities, and systemic failures that allow such tragedies to unfold. How can families, communities, and institutions unite to build stronger safety nets for those most at risk? Education, awareness, and compassion are essential. We must foster environments where young people feel valued, protected, and empowered to escape cycles of exploitation and despair. We extend our gratitude to the brave investigators, advocates, and community members who work tirelessly to seek justice and healing in the face of pain and uncertainty. Their dedication reminds us that hope persists, even in the darkest times. To you, our viewers, thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Hong Kong's most chilling and thought-provoking cases. Your attention honors the memory of Wang Jia Mai and countless others whose stories deserve to be heard. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. How has this story touched you? What lessons do you believe society must learn to prevent such tragedies? If this video has resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share to help raise awareness and keep these important conversations alive. Together, we can work towards safer, more compassionate communities. As we sign off, remember, every life matters. Through understanding, empathy, and action, we hold the power to create real change. What can each of us do today to help ensure tomorrow is safer for all youth? The conversation begins here, with you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay compassionate, and remember, we are all connected in the shared responsibility to protect the vulnerable. Until next time, may light guide your path, and may justice and kindness prevail in our world.